Hello, this is DK Singh. With me here today is a young, dynamic Congress leader you are all familiar with, Sachin Pilot. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Let me take you back to 2004 when you were filing your nomination papers, your first Lok Sabha election, and I'm taking you back there because I was present in that rally. I was there when you filed your nomination papers. I was there in your rally, and I remember seeing you, reading from a text. You were very short a speech. You were fumbling a bit, and then I thought, this Wharton School graduate, where would he stay in this rough and tumble of politics? Of course, you have proved me completely wrong, but how has been the journey last 20 years in politics?
Okay, that's a tough one. It's a longish answer, DK. But first of all, thank you for having me here. And that 20 years ago, thank you for reminding me how old I'm getting. So even though you said in introduction that I'm young, but I'm now mid-40s. So it's
No, 46.
By no standard, India is a younger country. The average of India is 27 years of age.
Okay.
So you and I both are way beyond that. So 20 years ago, you're right, that was my first election. Like they always say, don't judge a book by its cover. So that was my first election, and I'll never forget that moment. So it's been a very good journey. I think overall 20 years I've packed in a lot. I think a lot has happened. I've fought many elections. I've done a lot of work for the party, in governments, both in central government and state government. But frankly, it's been quite satisfying. And the other thing is it's gone off very quickly. I didn't realize it's been 20 years until you mentioned it quite a few times. So it's been a good journey. It's been many ups and downs, of course, like in any profession, but more so in politics. I think there are many more ups and downs in this profession than there are in any other. But the world has changed. I remember 2004 when I first entered Parliament, there was 3 ex-Prime Ministers and Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister. There was Chandrasekhar ji, there was Vajpayee ji, Devi Gowda ji. All 3 in the same house, and then Dr. Manmohan Singh. And I think that was a different house. In 20 years, not only has the building changed, but I think the structure, the dynamics of government and opposition, leaders, speeches, rhetoric, atmosphere, all that has changed quite a bit. Some for the good and some not so good. But personally speaking, it's been satisfying. I've enjoyed my time last 20 years in this profession.
When I was thinking of how to introduce you, and I thought I would be a bit cheeky and I would call you, would have been Rajasthan Chief Minister, should have been Congress President.
I knew you'll say all
and
those
then
things.
I thought, well, I mean, you have a long, promising career ahead. I should not address you as somebody who is from the past. So I abandoned that. But thing is, do you have any regrets about the missed opportunities?
Okay, the most important thing to me is that when you're saying could have been this, could have been that, at least someone thinks that one was capable of doing something bigger and better. That's satisfying. But there are no guarantees in life. How can there be guarantees in politics? There are always circumstances, situations, and one must deal with it in the present, and I have, and then move on for what's already gone back. So there's no point in looking back and saying, ye hota, to wo hota. Time has gone back. But no regrets, absolutely zero regrets. I live my life to the fullest. I believe in working hard. I believe in doing my karma. And as long as I'm honest to myself and I work hard, I think, and more importantly, what takes you further in public life. Of course, posts are important, positions are important. And if you're absolutely lacking ambition, it won't get you anywhere. But what also I think is as important is the fact that you're able to create a positivity about yourself or about a good impression in people's hearts and minds, in general public, not just your own party or your own support with, but generally. And that takes a lot of hard work, dedication, sacrifice and effort. It doesn't happen automatically. I think at some level, I think I have been able to achieve at least partially some success in that direction. So
no regrets?
Not at all. Zero. I think I've gotten more than plenty compared to most other people. And I keep going back to what my father used to say. 1979, 1980, he first became member of parliament. And out of the blue, my grandfather was a Havaldar in the army, retired very early, died very young. And my father had a very tough upbringing. So when he got to become an officer in the Air Force, that itself was a highest point in the life of our community, our region, and our family, etc. And then to become member of parliament. So I was very young. I used to ask him. I said, you take everybody on. You speak so openly about what you think is right, etc. It may. I used to, even that young age, I used to think. I said it was going to harm you politically. He used to say like, whatever I've gotten so far in life is more than I deserved. I think, frankly, everything is bonus. So God has put me here to do the right things. So I shouldn't get bound by ये कहने से वो बुरा होगा अच्छा होगा. I should do what I believe is right and stand by the truth. So I have no regrets at all whatsoever. God has been extremely kind to me, and I think life is long. अभी देखते आगे क्या होता है. But I don't look back and feel कि I've not done something or I've lost something or could have been better. I have more than plenty. I think these 20 years have been quite a fulfilling time for me.
I'm given to understand that the Congress High Command wanted you to become the leader of opposition in the Rajasthan Assembly, but you were not interested. Why?
नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. You see, the party obviously discusses with us, but ultimately they decide what the party leadership wants us to do. As matlab all of us as workers. So at one point when I first became a member of parliament, I was made a minister in the Union cabinet. Then I was sent as party president when we lost very badly, and I worked in the state for 6 years as party president. Then I was part of the government, and now today I'm general secretary in charge of Chhattisgarh. I'm a member of Mr. Kharge's team, and we all work together. So it's not about someone offered, I said yes, no, ऐसा नहीं होता. Wherever they feel the individual is best suited, they do that. For example, this time I won my assembly election in December. अभी लोकसभा के elections थे. So there were a lot of speculations whether I should contest or not contest.
Yeah.
But ultimately, party decided that I need to do more than just fight one seat. I'm responsible for my state of Chhattisgarh and also Rajasthan. So they decided that I should now campaign and work for the party everywhere else and not contest the election. That decision ultimately is the party. It's not about my personal choice कि मुझे लड़ना है कि नहीं लड़ना. Whatever they decided, leadership was okay with me, and I abide by that.
Quite a tough assignment for you, even the Chhattisgarh. The BJP wins the assembly elections, and we go back into 2019. BJP almost swept 9 out of 11 seats. Quite a tough assignment.
हाँ लेकिन अब नहीं होगा. So tough assignment तभी मेरे को दिया होगा ना, because it's a tough assignment. But we lost the assembly elections very marginally by like a 1 or 2% vote share difference. But Lok Sabha, you're right, out of 11 seats, we only had 2 going into the polls. But this time, I think there's been a sea change. We've been able to travel across the state, have very good candidates. The narrative is positive. People like our manifesto. And in Chhattisgarh, I think with all humility, I can say that we will get more seats in the BJP this time in Chhattisgarh.
Another assignment that you have been given, Northeast Delhi, from where Kanhaiya Kumar is contesting. For somebody who contested the last election in Begusaray, then disappeared from the scene, suddenly he shows up as the Congress candidate in Northeast. For a young leader like him, why do you have to give him a cushioned seat where the AAP is the Aam Aadmi Party is also supporting? And still you're not sure.
नहीं cushion क्या है? We have an alliance with Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. We have 7 seats. We're fighting 3 seats. And one of the seats, like you mentioned, Northeast Delhi, is where Kanhaiya Kumar is a candidate. He's been in charge of the NSUI. He's been working the party for some time. Of course, he may have fought some election in some other state or some other party, but that's in the past. Now, for a few years, he's worked dedicatedly, and he's actually a very vocal voice on many issues. And a lot of young people listen to what he has to say. And no matter how much the BJP always tries to target him, allegations and this, that, the other. The fact of the matter is he's a vociferous speaker, and he holds his ground. He's a tough young man, and I'm helping out in that constituency as best as I can. I think with the alliance, with this support base, with the kind of hard work that we put in, we should be able to win that seat.
You were talking about your party's manifesto. Somehow there are all kinds of interpretations of what you have promised in your manifesto, right? From, how you will be snatching reservation from SC, ST to OBCs and give it to the Muslims.
On the contrary.
Yeah.
So, no. Okay, let me stop you right there. First of all, there can be interpretation about what I say. But what I've printed, there's no there has to be factual realization of what we are saying. So, ये कौन interpret कर रहा है? Only the BJP. भाई इंटरप्रेट आप वो करो जो चीज़ कुछ कंफ्यूजन हो. हम लोगों ने छापे रखा है. We've got a manifesto in black and white, Hindi and English. It says very clearly there is no question. In fact, there is no basis of reservations based on religion. जब संविधान में नहीं है, how can you put in a manifesto? It's a propaganda of the BJP to counter, because okay, another question. in this whole election, which party's manifesto is most talked about? The Congress party. If I ask you, give me 3 things about the BJP manifesto, you'll have no answer to give. No one cares about that BJP manifesto. It's just, propaganda, self, chest thumping. उसमें कुछ भी नहीं है उसके अंदर. We have made very, very crucial and critical interventions of 5 guarantees. Okay, and this word guarantee also has been stolen from us, because we first said in Himachal Pradesh about guarantees. We said we'll increase the Narega payments to 400 rupees. We'll give every poor family 1 lakh rupees per year. And we will actually give 30 lakh vacancies that are khali, unko bharna chahte hain hum log. Giving women some power. And for the first time, a political party has come forward and said we will have a legislation on minimum support price. Now, you tell me, where is the controversy? Where is the question of religion? And where is this question of we will steal the Mangal Sutra and give it to somebody else? If you have, आपके घर में 2 भैंस हैं, हम 1 भैंस छीन लेंगे. I mean, all this fear mongering.
If the country's prime minister is talking about it, he must have reasons to.
No, just because someone is some CM or prime minister doesn't mean his word is sacred, right? I'm telling you today that what he's saying is absolutely baseless. There is no question of anything of that sort being in our manifesto. And the question is, it's there in writing. Where is the confusion about I misheard or there was a miscommunication? The problem is because that manifesto got a lot of traction on the ground, and we were committing ourselves to really doing good for the majority of the people and to bring everybody into the mainstream. The BJP government for the last 10 years has worked for a limited people. Some people have gotten very wealthy and rich, which is fine. But the gap between the rich and poor is exponentially higher than it ever was. We have record unemployment, record inflation, and not one BJP leader till date in the entire election cycle has come forward and said, yes, हम महंगाई कम करेंगे. Yes, हम रोजगार देंगे. Not one person. You talk about Mandir, Kashi, Muslim, Musalman, Hindu, Mangal Sutra, everything else, except good governance and 10-year track record. When you have a 10-year of a full majority government, 2 terms, then you must come with a report card. कि हमने इतना काम किया है, ये हमने present किया, and then fight on that issue. So they are not doing anything of that sort. They are relying back to the same rhetoric.
Are you going to redistribute wealth?
How's it? Where are these questions coming from? How do you redistribute? I think we, in our manifesto, said we will create income, we will create job opportunities, and we'll make India grow, not few Indians grow. There's a difference. A very large country, 140 crore people. If 80% of people are left out in the growth trajectory, how is that justifiable? It's not a question of whether you're right wing or socialist or communist. The question is that 91, when India got liberalized, its economy got opened up, it was the Congress government, right? It is the Congress government that started Narega, food security programs, midday meal programs. All these programs are poverty alleviation programs started by the government of Congress governments. We are also the same party that bought the IT revolution, telecom revolution, opened up the economy, liberalized the economy, stock exchange, the market-driven economy, the capitalistic, tenor of the economy was created by the Congress party. The BJP was opposed to GST, opposed to the India-US nuclear deal, opposed to FDI in retail, opposed to FDI in defense, opposed to direct benefit transfers. They were saying buy Deshi or perish the Hindu Jagaran Manch. So they've changed their stand on every economic issue. We have remained steadfast. Make sure there's wealth created, but it must percolate down to the bottom of the pyramid. That's been the mantra, and that's worked well for the country.
So when Rahul Gandhi says we'll do economic mapping, we'll see which section has what wealth, and accordingly we'll redistribute this. What does he mean?
No, not at all. The clear message that the Congress party is saying.
What does economic
I'll
mapping
explain
mean?
to you. But if you have a certain policy or a program that you make to target a certain community or a certain geographical region, if you don't have empirical, authentic data of how many people live there, in what conditions, how can my budgetary allocations be scientifically correct? I have to know, in इतनी families हैं, इतने लोग इस हालत में रह रहे हैं, इतनी पढ़ाई करी, इतनी नौकरी लगी हुई है. Then I can do planning, I can do programming, I can do policy making, I can do budgetary allocations depending on what I know. If I have no idea, if I'm just doing ad hoc allocations, I'm doing the outlays, but I have no idea of the outcomes. That's not scientific. The Congress is saying we'll do a census to map exactly the conditions of everybody so that the programs can be tuned to exactly what's needed where. Right now, we allocate इतने हजार करोड़ वहाँ, इतने हम वहाँ subsidy दे रहे हैं. We don't know what we're doing because we have no data. Unless you have that data, you can't really do specific targeted policy making like we should. It is the BJP that is on the back foot because there are many voices within that setup that have come forward and talked about changing the reservation criteria, changing the reservation paradigm, tinkering with the constitution as it is. If it wasn't for voices within that system, why would it take the top leaders of the BJP to come and keep denying it? भाई वो खंडन कर रहे हैं, क्या मजबूरी है? It is because not because I am saying it. It's because there are many voices of important people within that ecosystem that have said this multiple times that they had to come back and said that we will not tinker with the constitution, we will not change reservation.
That the Prime Minister has said so many times.
Why did he have to say it? Rajiv Gandhi had 400 MPs in parliament. Did you ever hear him say that I will not change the constitution or I will not tinker with the reservation? Why? Did you see Manmohan Singh say, or did Vajpayee ever say it? Why is this government saying it? Not because of the Congress, it's because within their own system, लोग बोल रहे हैं इन बातों को, तो उनका खंडन करना पड़ रहा है लोगों को. That is the reason.
So, what are these things that they can tinker with? Hypothetically, if you think they are going to tinker with, what?
I won't go into a hypothetical debate with you.
Because you think they are going to tinker with the constitution.
I say one
thing. Is it a preamble? I mean,
no,
what?
You're going to realm of speculation. I'm sticking to the facts. We have not said anything. People in their system are saying things on record. They're countering it because they feel it's politically damaging for them. Nothing to do with the Congress party. We have said that we want to make sure that India grows as one entity. Everybody is equal in the eyes of the law. The constitution is the most sacred document for the government to run. It can't be based on likes and dislikes. The state runs with the constitution. Constitution says everyone is equal. All religion, all ethnicities, all languages, all citizens. We must keep that as sacrosanct. And we will make sure that the institutions that for 70 years were nurtured by different shades of governments in the last 70 years, those institutions must remain strong and effective, because if their credibility, their transparency and the faith that people have in those institutions is challenged, that's not a healthy outcome for us. And I say this because across many countries in our neighborhood, people don't give them as examples of shining democracies. It's not because people don't vote there. People vote in Russia, people vote in Pakistan, people vote in Bangladesh also. But the shining example of a democratic, deep-rooted democratic country is India. Why? Because the institutions are strong. The judiciary, the bureaucracy, the election commission, and they must remain strong. If any attempts to undermine those institutions or to question their credibility or their functioning or their transparency, that's not healthy, and that shouldn't happen. And that, I think, has held good across different governments, whether it's Congress governments or non-Congress governments. And we just said very plainly that we as the Congress Party and India Alliance will make sure that that infrastructure and that setup remains as healthy as it is today.
You are talking about caste census. Now, I know you have a different spin to it. You have already elaborated on that. But when it comes to caste census, aren't you going back to the same old Mandal days which actually finished you in the Hindi heartland, that is in UP and Bihar?
But caste census was a decision taken by the Congress Working Committee. So there are many views to it. But I believe having a scientific data at hand doesn't hurt anybody. It is not that you're taking anything away from anyone. It's just that you must have a full understanding of what the lay of the land is. If you're planning something, whether it's an organization, whether it's your own house, whether it's a call, you must know who's where. And then accordingly give whatever is available in the budget and in the policy making framework. It's simple as that. There's not politics in it. There is not question of this versus that. We don't do that. That's not the way the Congress party thinks.
Why did the Prime Minister of our country keep telling us that if the Congress comes to power, it is going to, redistribute wealth among, take it away from everybody else and give it to the Muslims? Take it away from,
you tell me a statement or a line in any of our documents, especially the manifesto. Where have you even imagined that from? I have no idea. Where can anyone even imagine that from? That's fear mongering, no? Because it hasn't been said. It is just. One thing I've noticed. Usually, it is the opposition that makes allegations on the government. That's been the tradition. For the first time, I'm seeing the government making allegations on the opposition. भाई 10 साल से हम विपक्ष में ही हम लोग हैं. तो and to blame Nehru and Indira Ji and Manmohan Singh and Rajiv Gandhi, that's all fine, election campaigning. But you've had 10 full years, no? You should give your performance card, what you have done. Are people happy with what you've done? The BJP promised doubling of farmers' income,
Mhm.
hasn't happened. They promised to eradicate corruption, black money, and reduce inflation. On all four fronts, they've squarely failed to deliver. That's why now it's come back to हम मंदिर बनाएंगे, हम ये वाला कांग्रेस जीत जाएगी तो आपका मंगलसूत्र छीन लेंगे, आपके घर में 2 भैंस है तो 1 भैंस छीन लेंगे. I mean, to give that twist also is very, very creative imagination. And to say it on public platforms, I think it's lowering the level of debate that we should have as a mature democracy. We should talk about issues, policies, foreign policy, domestic policy, food security, internal security, job creation, investment, infrastructure, roadmap for the next 5 years. What are you promising in the next 5 years? You've already had 10 years in government. You want five more years. But when a young person wants to join the army, you say no. You're Agniveer, only 4 years. तो नौजवान के लिए 4 साल, खुद के लिए आप 15 साल मांग रहे हैं. So there is, that's counterintuitive first. So you've had 10 years of full government. You should be able to deliver in 10 years. If you haven't, then you must be accountable and answerable for that. To look at everything through the prism of religion is not doing justice to an elected government. You should be fair to all. You should not look at everything through the prism of this religion, this minority, this CAA bill, NRC, Hindu, Muslim. I mean, today is India's priority NRC and CAA, or India priority that we're going at 6%? We should do 10%. When people were looking at putting money out of China post-COVID, should India not have been the natural replacement for that? Other third world countries, other Asian countries got more benefit of the outflow of capital from China than we did. Our relationship with the neighboring countries, unless you become a regional power, how can you become a global power? Just population alone won't push you that far ahead. Our aim should be, how can we get a seat in the Security Council? How can we become a global player? How can our educated young people be gainfully employed? How can we become productive? How can we have unicorns in our country? How can we become, a country people want to come, live and invest in? We have youngest population in the world, but we also have the recorded highest unemployment. An educated young person, if he loses faith in his future, then what are we working as politicians?
But Prime Minister Modi is very concerned about your Hindu-Muslim agenda.
We don't have an agenda. We have an India agenda. We have an agenda for everyone. I feel as hurt when things go wrong in Manipur as I feel hurt when things go on in Rajasthan. Don't people in that part of the country deserve same attention, regard and respect and protection and dignity that we have in Delhi or Chennai? So you have to be very fair in how you govern the country. You can't be making speeches, but your actions are contrary to what you say. People judge you by your actions.
But the PM has said that he never does Hindu-Muslim politics. Anybody doing Hindu-Muslim politics is unworthy of public life.
It's a very, very good statement. I wish everyone in his party and he actually abide by that statement. कि आप कह कुछ रहे हैं और कर कुछ रहे हैं. Why is it? Okay, now that you talk about Hindu-Muslim, such a large country, BJP is now apparently the world's largest political party.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. They've not given a single ticket to a Muslim person. By design, by default, by choice. Why? Assembly or Parliament. Pata nahi ek aadh kahin. From what I understand, they haven't done it as a policy, as an unstated policy. Surely that's not something that a political party should do. You tell me any other political party that has done this. You find winning candidates, you have social combinations, you have winnability criteria, fine. But that seems like it's a unspoken policy that the party is following. It's not correct for the country. ठीक है, आप एक सीट ज़्यादा जीत जाओ, doesn't matter. The point is, this nation, DK, is bigger than any political ideology or any government of the day. We have a huge responsibility. It's a large country. If people trust us with their vote, let's not use that trust for our political propaganda, for our longevity. Let's do the best we can for the time we have, because time doesn't come back. And if you are elected to government, whatever the circumstances, once you occupy that chair, you're bound by the duty to the country and by the constitution. Political affiliations, yes, political narrative, election speeches, winning polls is of course part of a political person's life. But when you're in government, when you have a responsibility, then you have to rise above all those things. Because I keep saying nation is above Congress, BJP, above ideologies, left, right, it chalta rahega. But the world is watching us, no? World is watching what this country is doing, and we have really a tremendous opportunity. And let the people decide. I think June 4th will decide who will run the government for the next 5 years. Whatever may be the outcome, I think India must win. And we at the India Alliance are saying that we have a 5-year strategy, a roadmap, an alternative governance model. Let people choose, and whatever people choose, I am confident that we will do exceedingly well when the results come out.
BJP leaders have been talking about this. Modi versus who? The same old question coming up, in every election. This time, when you say India Alliance can form the government, again, who is the face?
So there are many elections fought in this country without any public declaration of individuals. We fought on manifestos, policies, and what we believe in. And we've had successful governments post that also. I don't think anybody in the India Alliance is so desperate to occupy a certain position that he or she is, willing to come out and become that person. We decided within the group. Within 24 hours, once we get the mandate, we'll decide who will get what job. It's not important. But it's important for NDA to get defeated today because we believe that they haven't done justice to the mandate that they got 10 years ago. So this question of versus kiske kya hoga, it's a parliamentary system. Largest party was invited and the largest group gets the chance to form the government, and it takes one day to decide who will lead the government. अब ये कह रहे हैं फिर Monday को कोई और होगा, Tuesday कोई और होगा, Wednesday कोई और होगा. That's not correct. We will give a very, very stable government, and coalition governments have also been very, very stable. It's not to say that coalition governments are not stable. In fact, there's more of a check and balance at some level in a coalition government as opposed to a single majority brute force government, which also we've experienced in the last 10 years. 147 MPs being suspended in a single day and then passing bills behind the back. Election Commission officers in the Chandigarh mayor poll, spoiling votes under the camera. All these things create doubts in people's mind, and it's not healthy to have 2 elected chief ministers being put behind bars right in the middle of elections, to have the Congress bank accounts frozen in the middle of elections. Right? Where has this happened before?
No, you're skirting this. I'm saying,
Right.
is Rahul Gandhi a potential prime minister if your India Alliance?
Politics works on numbers, right? Congress is the largest party in the alliance, and we have not made any declaration who will get what position. But once we get the mandate, we'll decide. And numbers are more important than anything else in any political outcome.
Is the Prime Minister going to be from the Congress, or you are okay with the others?
We have not. We have said we're open to everything. We have not closed our minds to anything. Open for everything. First and foremost, we must win the polls. That's the criteria. That's the first priority. If we get in this debate of Congress, non-Congress, kaun kya banega, kaun Videsh Mantri, kaun Pradhan Mantri, then we'll be doing this only. We won't campaign and expose the government of the day and ask them tough questions.
4 phases.
You didn't respond to what I said. In the middle of the elections, Congress party bank accounts get frozen, elected chief ministers get put behind bars, are detained. A sort of environment is being created where people feel that the level playing field is not available to all political parties. That hasn't happened before. It's not a healthy sign. And despite all of that, we are fighting to win, fighting with full spirit, with full unity amongst India Alliance partners. Of course, 1 or 2 of them have ditched us, but 24 parties are fighting together, not for a position, not for a post, but to give India an alternate. And we'll do that.
Where do you stand in the polls? 4 phases gone.
If you look at the change in speech of the BJP leaders, I think the last 3-4 phases, जहाँ polling हुआ है, India Alliance candidates and the Congress candidates are faring very well. Also, wherever there's a bipolar contest between Congress and BJP, the important heartland states, Congress party will do very well. Because last time, that's where we didn't score well.
Seriously, because you look at the data, when you contest against the BJP, when there is a direct contest, BJP's success rate is 92%.
I know, but that's in the past. What goes up must come down. And 19 का जो चुनाव हुआ था, it was under very different circumstances. Rajasthan, for example, we are a border state. So there was a different environment at that time. Things were different. Today, there is anti-incumbency. There is lack of delivery. There is lack of transparency. There is a sense of arrogance in the BJP that has seeped in. And the heartland states also, we have fought very good elections. You result साहब देखना, Rajasthan में, Haryana में, Chhattisgarh में, Delhi में, Punjab में, of course our coalition in Bihar and Maharashtra will do exceedingly well. So we are confident.
I'll come to these states one by one, but one big picture. There are 224 Lok Sabha seats in 2019, which the BJP won with a vote share of over 50%. 164 Lok Sabha seats where the BJP candidates won by a margin of over 2 lakh votes. And look at the magnitude of the challenge. And what has happened between 2019 and 2024?
A lot has happened.
Yeah.
छोड़ो पुरानी बातें. You're right. That data, I won't refute that argument. That the numbers were exceedingly high, and we didn't do well at all in a direct contest. But that's where the game is. You see, in the south and the east, it's a different political configuration. In the west and the north, where there is most of the places there's a bipolar contest, Congress BJP ka hai. There we will do well, and that's where I think the numbers will come down for the BJP and the Congress will gain. And Congress gaining means additional strength to the India alliance. अब हुआ ये, अब आप पूछ रहे हैं ना, फिर आपको आई एम रिपीटिंग माई सेल्फ, महंगाई, बेरोजगारी, जो घमंड दिख रहा है लोगों का, द एरोगेंस, द लैक ऑफ अकाउंटेबिलिटी, no questions being answered, and it perhaps it's natural, but it's happened very quickly to the BJP. I feel, at least in these, this part of the country. Rajasthan, for example, we have 25 seats. We got 0 seats last time, 19. But this time, you watch, we will at least be in double digits, if not more than BJP.
Double digits?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So BJP loses 10 seats in Rajasthan. Okay.
I'm saying we will get perhaps more than BJP, but minimum double digits.
Minimum, okay. So 10 seats. Chhattisgarh?
More than BJP.
You are getting more than BJP. So how many seats?
Total 11 है वहाँ पे.
हाँ.
आप गणित कर लो फिर.
नहीं, आपका 6 रहोगे और 5 रहेंगे.
मैं कह रहा हूँ, मैंने बोल दिया आपको, we will get more than BJP.
Fine. So I'm saying, okay, they lose 5 there also. That takes us to 11. Where else are they losing?
मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको. Again, हरियाणा, पंजाब, राजस्थान, मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, where there is primarily a Congress BJP contest, we will do much better. The numbers will come down, our numbers will go exponentially. And wherever we are alliance partners, like I told you, in Bihar, in Tamil Nadu, of course, there will be one way election, in Maharashtra, etc., we will do very well. And the alliance is much stronger there than people think, because on the ground, they've seen the kind of, in each state, क्या राजनीति हुई, कौन दल बदला, कौन सरकार यहाँ गई, वहाँ गई. People are also fed up with all this sort of management of governments, etc.
So, as per your assessment, how many seats is the BJP going to lose?
अब देखो, I'll give you shortcut. 4 जून को, whatever minimum required number to form a government, we will get that number, 272. India Alliance, we need 270 to form the government. उतना नंबर हमको मिलेगा 4 तारीख.
And Congress को कितना होगा?
We'll do. I won't give numbers, but of course we are the largest party in the India Alliance, and we will do much better than we did previously.
What makes you so confident? You look at CSDS Lokniti People Survey for 2024. Yes, people have issues about inflation. People have issues about unemployment. Even more than half of the respondents said that corruption has increased, and yet when it came to Modi's popularity, things do not seem to have moved.
You see, 2004, when Vajpayee went to polls with India shining, no one gave anybody else a chance. In the end, it was a Congress-led government that got formed in India. So, 20 साल के बाद, history will repeat itself, and you'll see a new dispensation on June 4th.
Let me come back to your personal, to your political thing. Everybody knows that you and Ashok Gehlot don't get along well. I mean,
who told you?
Are you friends?
We are colleagues. He's much more senior to me in age. So there is no question not getting along. There is no personal agenda anybody has, whether me or him, either one of us.
Okay, so that's news for me, like if you and Ashok Gehlot have become friends.
So it's not a question of being enemies or friends. We work together in the party. We may have a different approach to certain things. My way of working may not be same as yours. We may have different way of doing things. But ultimate objective is to make sure that party wins elections, whether it's state elections or Lok Sabha elections. And for that, he's working hard, I'm working hard.
We get a sense that he is not ready to cede even an inch of Rajasthan for Sachin Pilot to do politics on.
But I'm already doing politics for the last 20 years in Rajasthan. So where's the question of anyone trying to cede any ground? It's not a question of taking or giving. It's a question of the party deploying the individual for a certain role. I've been MP, I've been MLA, I've been party president for almost 7 years, I've been deputy chief minister. So the party has given me as much and more than what I wanted. And I guess the same goes for him. He's also got many positions in the party, in the government. So we both have been given enough by the party.
Tell me, you said I'm not a young leader anymore. But
young, I was comparing your and my age and said we both are not, we are now middle-aged.
No, I'm talking about young Congress leaders, dynamic leaders. Say we talk about Jyotirajit Scindia, we talk about Jitin, we talk about RPN Singh.
They're all
They
older
have,
than you and me, by the
the,
way.
yes, they were so disillusioned with the Congress. And why was this disillusionment setting in? And
देखो
has
भाई,
it
I've been
changed?
asked this many times, DK. I think it's best that they answer for themselves. But all I can say is that any individual makes his own choice, which path to follow, which ideology to follow. Sometimes there are compulsions, sometimes there are pressure, sometimes there are just better options, and people take that decision. And why just them? I mean, Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad left the Congress party, Captain Amrinder Singh left the party, Ashok Chavan left the party, all ex-chief ministers, 30, 40, 50 years in the Congress party.
Why?
So people leave, na, yeah, they feel that okay, that's a better way of working. They may not be happy, they may have certain personal issues, they may have certain misunderstandings. I can't answer for them. All I'm saying is that everyone makes their own choice. So for me to answer on behalf of everybody who left the Congress party is not correct, because I can only take my decision, and I'm telling you, I am doing what I believe in. I'm extremely happy in what I'm doing and whatever job I've been given to do. It's of course been a very tough time for the Congress in the last 10 years as party, because we've been attacked, we've been alleged, criticized, police cases, ED, income tax, CBI, suffocating the opposition, targeting the Congress leaders, doing character assassination, personal targeting. हुआ है सबके साथ, ऐसा नहीं हुआ है. But I believe ठीक है, times will change, and we have to fight the good fight, and you stay strong in what you believe in. I can't speak for others, but I can speak for myself.
But tell me something, how well they've done. Jitin Prasad is a minister in the UP government, RPN Singh is a Rajya Sabha member, Jyotirajit Scindia is a cabinet minister at the centre, Milind Deora, he shifted to Shinde's party, he's a Rajya Sabha member. So my question is, I mean, didn't you ever feel tempted? Probably there is a better career on the other side.
Look at me, मैं बहुत संतुष्ट हूँ, बहुत खुश हूँ. किसी को क्या मिला, good for them. भाई जो जहाँ जा रहा है, जिसको जो पद पोस्ट मिल रहा है, good, they're happy in what they do, this is fine for them. But what is fine for me is for me. I sleep well at night, I sleep very happy, content, I work hard, I get tired in the evening, I have a very good night's rest, and I work next day morning. So everyone is happy in what they're doing, right? Every individual is different. मुझे जो करना मैं कर रहा हूँ, और बड़ी श्रद्धा से, बड़ी शिद्दत से, बड़ी मेहनत से और दिल खुश करके करता हूँ, because I believe that I'm able to reach people across the country. I talk to them, I meet them. Most of the time they're nice to me. I'm very glad about that, and I think I've been able to, like I said in the beginning, partially successful in creating something positive about whatever work I've done. I'm very happy with that. अब ठीक है, पद पोस्ट भी important होते हैं, but it's not the end of life, and we don't know what happens tomorrow, but we have to fight for what we believe in. And I think that the Congress party is the only political outfit that can challenge the BJP nationally and surmount and be able to defeat them, right? And BJP, of course, is now in government, but I think that days are numbered.
But why to stay in the Congress if you can get something better, say in the BJP or some other party?
What is better? Better क्या होता है? Is everything life about a barter, a give and take? I give you a job, you join some other channel or do some other podcast, you get more money. But everyone is free to choose, ना? हर एक की एक priority होती है, हर एक का एक अलग personal choice होती है. So I think that's an individual decision. Some people make, some people don't make that.
Talking about disillusionment, see, many Congress leaders or young Congress leaders will be looking at your career trajectory. That okay, Sachin leaves Delhi, essentially a Lutyens leader. He goes back to Rajasthan, he sits there for 6 years and he leads the party into victory in the assembly election. And for 5 years, he hardly comes back to Delhi. And then he is left in the lurch. So what's there for me? Even if I work very hard, there is no guarantee that I will get something.
If you're only working to get a position, then please don't do this. But if you're working to leave a mark, to create goodwill, to endear yourself to the party cadre and to the people of the state, because no hard work goes to waste, and what is far more important than a position is the goodwill that you must enjoy. I've won many elections in my state of Rajasthan, parliament and assembly. I've traveled that state, like you said. For almost 7 years, I was heading the party as president. I was in opposition. जेल भी गया, लाठी भी खाई, भूख हड़ताल भी किया, धरने भी दिए, घेराव भी किया, सब कुछ हुआ मेरे, केस भी लगे. But as opposition leader of the party in Rajasthan, party president, most satisfying. The kinds of bonds I've developed in that state, with the people of my state, with the workers in that area, that bond, that emotional, political, social, जो भी आप बोलो, जो bond मैंने बनाया ना 5-7 सालों में as opposition, not so much in government. Government फिर क्या बाबू हैं, सरकारी है, that's a different. As opposition, to share those troubles, to share their grief, and to be beaten by the police together with my colleagues, that bond that has been created, it's my life's greatest achievement, I think, and greatest gift. So to say कि भाई आपको पद नहीं मिला, पोस्ट नहीं मिला, ठीक है, circumstances थे, things were planned differently. The Congress party had sent observers in Rajasthan, to have a public meeting of the MLAs. Unfortunately, वो meeting ही नहीं हो पाई. So things would have been different at that point. But again, it's part of politics. I don't want to go into the past, like I said in the beginning, but it's a process, and we must look ahead. कि अभी क्या होगा? Now we have Lok Sabha elections, then we have Assembly elections, and 28 में विधानसभा के चुनाव दोबारा होंगे. How to get the state back from?
Tell me something. If you were the chief minister of a state with barely a year left, and given that the government changes there every 5 years, and you had the option of becoming the national president of your party, why would you not take that?
That question you should ask the person who you have in mind. You shouldn't be asking me, because I never had that option. You should ask that person that you were, जो भी आपके दिमाग में व्यक्ति का है, उनसे आपको पूछना चाहिए, मेरे से क्यों पूछ रहे हैं?
But if you were in his place, what would you do?
Who are you talking about?
He's a hot place.
I don't know. It's difficult to say because I have never come across a situation. But if ever I came across a situation, I would have perhaps chosen what was beneficial to the party and what was perhaps mandated by the party. Because if you believe that we are a disciplined soldier of the party, then we must do what the party decides. But again, because I don't know who you're talking about and what situation you're saying, I can't comment any further.
But in that situation, you would have taken the national president's post as desired by the top leadership.
It's very speculative. I'm saying I would have done what the party would have wanted me to do and not look at my own personal longevity and my personal ambitions, because ultimately हमको party ने post दिया सारी कुछ. It is not that I wanted myself. If I become minister in the cabinet in government of India or a party president in the state, it's the party which has made me. And if you have to profess a loyalty so much to the party and keep saying it every second day, that whatever party wants I'll do, whatever party wants I'll do, and then don't do it in the end, then we're not sticking to our words.
Looking back, do you think the way you revolted against Ashok Gehlot, looking back, do you think if you could go back in time, you would avoid it now because it didn't really produce any results?
Result की बात नहीं होती ना. Everything that was, again, you're going back in history, DK, but you're not privy to the circumstances that were prevalent at that time. वहाँ क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ मैं उसमें जाना नहीं चाहता हूँ, लेकिन उसके अलावा कोई चारा भी नहीं था. There was nothing else left at that point because things became quite untenable. And if it wasn't the case, then things would have gone that way. But I think post that also, whatever issue I raised with the leadership, they were taken into consideration, and we acted on most of those issues, I must tell you. There was a gap in the government. We had no Dalit minister for almost 2 years. I wanted that. I wanted workers to become chairman of boards and corporations because, too much of dependency on ex-bureaucrats and ex-babus and giving them plum posts and ignoring the party workers was not something I wanted to happen in the state. And if you go back in history, every time we form a government in Rajasthan, out of 200 seats, we were reduced to 50 seats or 20 seats. This time is 72. So there was some course correction done. There were some things that we wanted to get done, which happened. I just now that we're looking back, perhaps a few more changes in the ticket distribution and incumbents to be replaced could have made us cross the halfway mark. But that's in hindsight, because I think out of the 26 ministers, I think 18 lost elections. And so perhaps, but that time there were survey reports and feedback from various corners, and I think there were certain decisions made which were, to now look back, may not be that productive. अगर हम थोड़ा बदल देते तो we could have, because 72 is not very far from it, halfway mark.
If you look at a larger picture, there's a lot of talk about how the Congress has been losing its footprints from one state after another gradually, and wherever your footprints kind of get receded to up to a point, then there is no coming back. Say UP, Bihar, you're almost out, and you're kind of latching on to some allies or regional parties to basically, just to stay afloat. Nothing has been done by the party so far.
I must tell you, a lot of journalists, including you, always give the example. Minute Congress recedes, UP, Bihar, फिर आप खत्म हो जाते हो, फिर आप allies को पकड़ते रहते हो. Let me give an example.
Odisha, Tamil Nadu, I can count so many. Andhra.
You've asked a question, I'm answering a question. There are states where we've clawed back in also. Look at Telangana. We were almost finished. Today, we have a full majority government and we'll secure maximum seats in parliament. So please don't say that it is not possible to be done. Okay, in some states, we haven't been able to get success. I agree with you. I'm not taking away from the fact that it's true. But to say that that's true for all times to come, for all states, is not possible. We have got the highest ever margin in Karnataka, Congress party. Highest ever vote share margin.
You have always been there, yeah?
Not so much. We had a 6% increase in our vote share in Karnataka, despite all the other, permutation combinations. Telangana, we secured a full comeback. And second, no one was giving us a chance. But we fought hard, and we have a full majority government today. In Himachal Pradesh, it is a twin engine sarkar. We've made a government there. So Congress party has won in 2018. We won Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, all 3 states. But yes, where we have been historically weak, there we need to do some rethinking and come up with an imaginative way to to gain a vote share first, and then think.
What can we then say in Gujarat? I mean, Congress hardly contests. In Maharashtra, used to be very strong.
Until recently, we are almost 38% vote share, 40% vote share in Gujarat.
Because it's a bipolar polity. Of course,
are you finding reasons to make sure that we get no credit? Bipolar polity में भी बहुत कुछ होता है ना. But I'm saying Gujarat, of course, until last election, we had almost 40% vote share, and I think all is not lost in Gujarat. We have a very strong social combination there, strong presence of the party. It takes decades to get the symbol and the party, used to the population. So we have a good spread there. And देखो, time बदलने में समय लगता नहीं है. When things change very quickly. And I think it will all start with this main election in 2004 June में जब परिणाम आएंगे. We have to, I keep saying this, unless we win states for the Congress party, we have to start winning states, and then we'll be able to get back to our old numbers of 200.
So how come you're not able to convince your friends of the same thing? The time badalne mein de nahi lagta. Say your friend Milind Devra, you are going to Maharashtra now.
You come back again. So I mean, you may be known to someone, you may be friendly to someone, but I cannot dictate your political choices. Like, I mean, I'm friends of yours, DK, but tomorrow you want to leave the channel, go somewhere else. I don't think I can stop you or make you stay here. It's your decision. But like I said, everyone's free to decide. It is the people of India and time that will tell whether that decision is right or wrong. That's all I have to say.
All right, just last couple of questions. Where do we see Sachin Pilot 5 years from now, or say 10 years from now?
Difficult to say. Wherever I will be, I hope to be content, satisfied and happy. And like I said in the beginning itself, Dick, it's a very, this profession is, it's got no guarantees. But no matter what it is, I want to be, at least for a few more years, work really hard in whatever capacity, whatever position the party asks me to work in. But my main focus, of course, is my own state of Rajasthan. And we have now almost 5 years left for the next elections, but we have to start working now only, because we can't wait. Like 2013 also, we started working from day one. Can't wait for election year. By then it's too late. So of course, work there. And Abhi, I've got responsibility of Chhattisgarh. So whatever the party wants, I'm happy to do.
Just 5 years later, if I have to see you, will I be seeing you in Delhi or in Jaipur?
It depends where I've been assigned to work. I was in Raipur, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh for most of the time, because that's where I was assigned. I've gone to Kerala, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Jammu, Punjab, Bengal, Bihar, Haryana, what have you. So I travel wherever I'm asked to go. But of course, my base is there. I'm elected from Rajasthan, and I will stay with the people of Rajasthan till the end. There's no question about it.
Okay, so for the 4th of June, but my last question, on the 4th of June, how does the tally look like? Can you put a finger on a number?
I know for a fact that there will be a change of government, and 4th of June we'll see an India Alliance government come to the fore.
All right, Sachin. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.